Hello, Tom Maguire. I just want to review the book Relentless, Secrets of the Sporting Elite by Alistair Brownlee. So I'm going to start off, just tell you a quick bit about Alistair Brownlee if you don't know about him already, just in case you've been living under a stone these past few years. I'm going to give you a list of the people that he interviews, talks about in the book, the sporting people. Really, really fantastic cast, fantastic list of people, makes this book absolutely brilliant. Then I will give you my usual kind of take from the book and the sort of things that I relate to personal development, to my personal development, and to the things that I think are important to share with you guys as well. So, as usual, I always say my reviews are as honest as possible. I've got no motivation other than to talk about these books. I love reading, listening to books. I love then talking about them, crystallising my thoughts, leaving honest reviews to my kids so they can have a laugh at me in a few years' time, trying to be a YouTuber. But just to sort of document the stuff I've read as well and the stuff that I've learned, I think it's really helpful to do that. So this is a book review channel, but it's also about personal development, and this book is absolutely a fantastic personal development book. It really is. When I say that, don't allow that to put you off, because it's also just very entertaining. If you just want to read, and you're someone who enjoys reading for the sake of reading, I'm fully behind that. It's fantastic. It's really entertaining. Even if you're not into sport necessarily, I've always kept myself fit. I've enjoyed running, swimming, weight training. I played a bit of football and rugby when I was younger and stuff, but I'm not really someone who watches sport on TV very much at all. Most of my friends and family think I'm weird in that respect because they all love it. But I don't watch much telly like that, so I'm not a big sports fan, but I still got a hell of a lot from this book. I think it's fantastic. So even if you're not particularly into sport, I think you'll get a lot from this book. So I think it's important to say that. With the Olympics on at the minute as well, Tokyo, this has come out just at the right time, I would say, and I'm pretty sure that was deliberate. I think it came out on the 8th of July, I think it was published. I listened to the audiobook. It's narrated by Alistair Brownlee as well, which is really, really good. I always say it's great when the authors narrate their own book, and he's got a good voice for it as well. It's a fantastic book. Go out and buy it, go out and listen to it, get it on Audible, whatever. So if I just give you the people he interviews and the people he sort of talks about in the book. So we've got Chris Froome, the fantastic British cyclist, Ronnie O'Sullivan, the brilliant snooker player, fantastic entertaining bloke, Alistair Cook, England cricketer, Dennis Irwin, who played for Man United for absolutely years and years under Alex Ferguson, fantastic Northern Irish player, Michael Owen, star footballer, played for Liverpool, played for England, Michael Johnson, the US sprinter. He had records in 200 metres and 400 metres, sorry. I think he suffered a stroke later in life as well, but apparently he's back to health now. Adam Peaty, who has just recently won gold for the 100 metres breaststroke. So I'm ashamed to say I hadn't actually heard of him before, but I saw him do that the other day. Absolutely fantastic. Britain are doing brilliantly in the Olympics at the minute. It's great to see. It's really, really encouraging. Paula Radcliffe, so she won the London Marathon 3 times. She's won New York 3 times. I run both of those. I didn't win, but I enjoyed them. Mark Cavendish, he's a professional British road cyclist, road racer. Ian Poulter, English pro golfer, aka the postman because he always delivered. He's really interesting. Shane Williams, the Welsh winger, 5'7" rugby player. He's interesting story on him. Ian Botham, Beefy, the fantastic English cricketer, all-rounder. Mark Webber, Australian Formula 1 racer. I really like him. I think he's great personality. Beryl Burton, I'd not heard of her before, I'm slightly ashamed to say. She's a female English racing cyclist, and she actually beat the men's record for the 12-hour time trial back in the day, years ago. Ian Thorpe, who's an Australian retired swimmer. AP McCoy, the Northern Irish horse rider. He rode 4,358 winners, apparently. And one of the stories in the book is that it wasn't until he got to like the 4,000 and something that he realised he was actually doing all right. It's that kind of mindset of push all the time. I think I found the chapter on horse racing probably my favourite. That potentially, and the golf chapter, which interestingly aren't two sports that I'm normally that keen on, but it was just really interesting to read about them and their mindset. But the whole book's great, to be fair. Then we've got Anna Hemmings, British marathon kayakist, Stuart Lancaster, rugby union coach, and a guy called Kilian Jornet, who I hadn't heard of before as well. He's a Spanish pro sky runner, a trail runner, ski mountaineer and distance runner apparently. Apparently he's kind of genetically freakish and ridiculously fit and just trains, really hard work ethic like all these people. And he also talks to some leading thinkers and scientists as well on kind of sport and mindset and things. So it's a fantastic book when it comes to personal development, to mindset. You can relate it to business. I think one of the people he talks to is a business consultant as well, which interestingly is what I do with my wife as well. But all this stuff, that the mindset of these people is so interesting to listen to, and it's not... It potentially, you could be fooled into thinking it could be quite boring, but the way it's done, it is really, really good. It's really interesting. So we got Ronnie O'Sullivan quite early on, and he talks about how he hates the genius label, being told that he's a genius, and he thinks that detracts from the fact that he works so hard, he puts the time in behind the scenes for years and years and years, and I think that's really important. It's that kind of growth mindset of pushing yourself all the time. And they all sort of talk about that, this kind of resilience and need to push to get to the top, and it's about kind of enjoying what they do so much that they just want to be the best, they just want to lead and just entertain, and it's really interesting, and he's a huge entertainer. Alistair says that one of his favourite books that he's read many times is The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin, which I really like to hear because that's one of my favourite books. If you look at my top 5 personal development books of all time, I've got The Art of Learning in there as one of the top 5s. I think it's a fantastic book, so check that one out if you get a chance. He talks about ruthlessness and how he was always been quite ruthless, and you have to have that ruthless edge if you want to get to the top. Him and his brother competing all the time and pushing each other, and if his brother was faltering, he would take advantage of that and he would do the same to him, vice versa. And you have to have this kind of ruthless streak if you want to get to the top. Interesting the way he talks about that. I like the fact that he says he sees people warming up far too much before a race. Now, I'm not a triathlete, but I have taken part in quite a few kind of 10k road races and things, a few marathons. And I see these people, and some of them look really fit, some of them don't look quite so fit. You get quite a mix of people, but they're sprinting up and down, they're running. I've heard people say before, like a 10k, they've run for 2 or 3 miles already. And my attitude is very much the same as what Alistair says. I know you can't compare us, obviously, but he says, I need all the energy I need for the race. And that's always been mine and my brother's approach as well. It's like, do some stretches, get your heart rate up quickly and back down again and stuff. But to wear yourself out before, you want to kind of push so hard. 10k might not be that far, but if it's hilly and you're going as fast as you can, you're going to be knackered. You need all the energy you can get. So these people crazily warming up, it was nice to hear that. Nice to hear a gold medalist kind of share my opinion on that, really. I guess it's different again for a triathlon when you're going for hours and hours and stuff, but I still think it's true of smaller races as well to an extent. When he's talking to JP McCoy, one of my favourite chapters on horse racing, he's sort of saying how you look for different places to find motivation all the time. You're always wanting to be the best. You never feel comfortable. He's broken just about every bone in his body. He's had all sorts of reasons to stop, but you just turn up day in, day out. Just really interesting. Like when it comes to the growth mindset, the kind of pushing yourself, the acceptance of failure, all these people have said that they failed plenty of times. It's really interesting to hear, Ronnie O'Sullivan, all of them, Paula Radcliffe, some have had more obvious failures than others, but the others have had them behind the scenes where they've just been pushing and things have gone wrong. You feel like you're getting kicked when you're down and you want to quit, but they've just got the desire to be the best and to keep doing what they're doing. And it's that kind of growth mindset, that resilience that gets them to the top. And that's kind of Alistair's argument in this book, is that none of these people, including himself, are necessarily hugely naturally talented. There is natural talent there, of course, but it's more about that desire, that burning desire. And he kind of finishes the book sort of saying, quoting someone who said that, we've got nowhere near the full extent of human potential yet, which is really interesting to hear and really encouraging. Like I say, with the Olympics at the minute, Britain doing so well, fantastic. It's really encouraging. This is a really good book. It's out at a really good time, I think. Alistair didn't actually qualify for the Olympics. I think he was injured, but he's qualified apparently for the Ironman triathlon in October, so keep an eye out for that. I'll be watching that. Fantastic book. Can't say a lot more about it, really. I don't want to give any particular spoilers, but it reads really well. It's really entertaining, but it's also a really good one for personal development. I'd recommend it if you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, you're someone who wants that kind of resilient growth mindset. This is really inspiring. Fantastic book. Please keep liking and subscribing. Back again soon. Cheers.